This is a story about Elizabeth and the importance of a name. Elizabeth lived about 2,000 years ago in the Middle East. She was married to Zechariah, who was a priest serving in the temple in Judea at the time that Herod was king. Both Elizabeth and Zechariah could trace their family history back a very long way because they were from the priestly line. Elizabeth and Zechariah were faithful to God and observed all of his commandments. Partly because of Zechariah's job, they were held in esteem in the community. But many people also felt sorry for them, particularly for Elizabeth, because they had no children, and they were both old enough to have no prospect of ever having any. At that time, it was a great sadness not to have any children, and it really meant difficulty in later life, as there was no close family to look after them as they grew old. Like so many women, Elizabeth had been praying for a family, and eventually her prayers were answered. But she was close to the age that would normally be too old for having children. Because of that, when she did finally become pregnant, she was very careful and remained at home as much as possible. It was a joy, therefore, when her relative Mary visited them. "Blessed are you among women," said Elizabeth when Mary visited her. "Your baby will be very special, and people will call you blessed because of him. It is an honour to have you, the mother of my Lord, stay with us." "When I heard your greeting, the baby inside me began to move," she told Mary. "God has made a promise to you and to us all, but you have trusted him and will be blessed because of this." Elizabeth took comfort in Mary's presence over about 3 months, during which time she was able to share her experiences of pregnancy with Mary, who was very young and about to experience those same things herself in the coming weeks. "Mary, it is so helpful to have you around. Zechariah is always so busy at the temple, and because of his recent affliction, he never says a word these days. I never really know what he is thinking. It's so hard sometimes. But I mustn't grumble. God has blessed us." Indeed, God has blessed us both, and we shall both soon have beautiful babies to care for and nurture and teach the ways of our faith. I do hope they can enjoy playing and learning together when they are growing up. I'm so looking forward to that. In time, Elizabeth had a healthy baby boy. We don't know whether Mary was still staying with her at this stage, but it is possible that she may have been. After a few days, the new parents held a naming ceremony for their son, as was the custom. They gathered friends, neighbours and family to join them, and everyone was expecting the child to be called Zechariah after his father. "Oh no," said Elizabeth, "he is to be called John." "Don't be silly," said her friends. "Why would you call him John? No one in your family has ever had that name. We'll ask Zechariah to confirm the boy's name." So they asked Zechariah what his son was to be called. Zechariah took up his clay tablet and wrote down, "His name is John." And immediately he was able to speak again. Having found his tongue, he began to praise God. All of the gathered friends and neighbours were totally amazed at all of this, and there was much gossip among the people about it all. Everyone realised that something special was happening and wondered about the future of the child, who was clearly going to be important. Zechariah continued to praise God. He remembered the words that the angel had brought to him in the temple and realised that his son was going to play a very significant role in the life of the people of Israel. Baby John grew and was cared for by his loving parents, but he had been singled out for special treatment from birth because of the role he would take on. As he grew up into adolescence and adulthood, John became strong physically and in his belief in God. Then, for a while, like prophets in the Old Testament times, he lived alone in the wilderness, in preparation for his coming role as prophet, baptizer, and foreteller of Jesus.